Utility and beauty. Language as a necessary illusion. Language is not a mirror, it is a canvas, a chisel, a battlefield. It is not an instrument of truth, but of survival. Not a reflection of the world, but a weapon wielded against chaos. Nietzsche saw language as a kind of grand deception, a falsehood so deeply embedded in human existence that it becomes indispensable. Intelligibility, comprehensibility, practicability, and beauty. These are the virtues of language, not truth. Will to Power 3602. In other words, language does not exist to reveal reality as it is, but rather to shape it in a way that allows us to function, to act, and, above all, to impose order onto an otherwise meaningless abyss. The practical illusion, language as a tool of survival. Nietzsche saw language as an evolutionary tool, an artifice designed not to discover objective facts, but to aid in survival. The fact that words do not truly correspond to reality is not a flaw. It is their greatest strength. Consider how we navigate the world. We do not see reality in its full depth. Our senses select and distort what is useful. We do not think in pure, objective terms. We think in metaphors, symbols, and biases that help us function. We do not speak with precision. We generalize, we simplify, we create categories that mask the uniqueness of individual things. Imagine, for example, if we had to describe every single object with its precise qualities. Instead of saying tree, we would have to specify every branch, every leaf, every color variation, every microscopic difference between one tree and another. This would be madness, paralysis. Language, then, is necessarily false because its purpose is to condense, approximate, and enable action, not to capture the infinite complexity of things. The deeper one looks, the more our valuations disappear, meaninglessness approaches. Will to Power 3602. If we did not impose these false structures, these names, categories, and valuations, existence itself would dissolve into an unbearable ambiguity. Language as a creative force, the beauty of the untrue. But Nietzsche was not merely a cynic. He did not see language only as a crutch for the weak. He also saw its power as a creative force, a tool for art, poetry, myth, and metaphor. There are two kinds of language: the dead language of conceptual thinking, where metaphors become rigid, where words are mistaken for realities, where people think in stale formulas and lifeless definitions. The living language of art and myth, where words remain fluid, where meanings shift and evolve, where language stays fresh and evocative rather than calcified. The poet presents a metaphor as a metaphor and does not trick himself into turning it into a concept, on truth and lies in a non-moral sense. The danger comes when we forget that all language is metaphor, when we allow words to become frozen and turn them into gods. This is why Nietzsche despised rigid moralities, political dogmas, and scientific absolutism, because they mistake words for truth rather than seeing them as tools of interpretation. The Nietzschean challenge: are you master or slave to language? Language is both a gift and a curse. It allows us to create meaning, but it can also trap us in illusions. Nietzsche offers us two paths. Be a creator. Use language as a tool of expression, of poetry, of revaluation. Question words, reinvent them. Be a prisoner, take words at face value, mistake definitions for reality, and allow yourself to be confined by linguistic dogma. In the end, Nietzsche does not ask whether language is true or false. He asks, what do you do with it? Do you let language control you, or do you wield it as an artist wields a brush? Do you use words to expand your world, or to shrink it? The choice is yours.